Welcome to Stocks and Stacks, episode number 25. I'm your host of the most, your boy Rich from Rich TV, and we are literally going live everywhere. And we're going to talk about the biggest trending and biggest breaking news of the day, the hottest stocks, like we always do. And we're going to talk about Bitcoin, which just keeps going, just keeps doing its thing. It just keeps making us money. It's been the year of Bitcoin. If you haven't heard, it's been the year of Bitcoin. I got a big shiny Bitcoin on my desk. I sit here every day and I talk to you guys about Bitcoin. And I really hope some of you guys are listening. That's all I can say. I really hope some of you guys are listening. I'm hoping some of you listened. I'm hoping some of you loaded up on the mothership, because it was at 15,000 last year, and right now we're sitting at 35,751. So congratulations if you do have some Bitcoin. If you loaded the boat on Bitcoin, give yourself a little pat on the back. You deserve that. You're winning. You're having a good year in a tough year for most investors, with the exception of the Magnificent Seven. I'm going to talk to you a lot about the Magnificent Seven because it's been the year of the Magnificent Seven, and they've done extremely well, and they've been setting the pace all year. But one of the things that no one talks about is, yes, the Magnificent Seven have done extremely well. NVIDIA, Microsoft, Meta, formerly Facebook, Google, Apple, Amazon. These are the Magnificent Seven. Tesla. Those are the Magnificent Seven. Tesla, Microsoft, Google, Amazon, Apple, Meta. Did I miss one? I know there's seven. Google, Amazon, Microsoft, Apple, Tesla, NVIDIA. I know there's seven. All right. And they're magnificent. And they have set the pace all year. Tech stocks, AI, chip stocks, search engines, online sales. The Magnificent Seven have had a phenomenal year, but so is Bitcoin. Bitcoin is up over 100% this year, and we're going to talk about it. We're going to bring up the charts because they are extremely impressive. Let's take a look at that. First and foremost, I want to look at Market Watch just to take a look at the overall market. As you can see, the Dow Jones is in the red. NASDAQ and S&P 500 are both slightly in the green. So the NASDAQ and S&P 500 are both slightly in the green. Dow Jones is in the red. The VIX is in the red, but slightly. Gold is starting to go back down after making a run to 2,000. It never seems to breach 2,000. Now it's back to 1957. And oil, after running to 95, is back all the way down to $75. That's what's going on in the Market Watch. All right. Now, let's take a look at the overall markets. And we're going to show you the hottest stocks of the day. And I want to show you Bitcoin, because Bitcoin is always on my mind. And if you're an investor in Bitcoin like I am, then you're probably thinking about Bitcoin all the time too. I know a lot of people that own Bitcoin and they like Bitcoin and they invest in Bitcoin and they watch it all the time. So I'm not the only one that watches it all the time. Romeo says TNON is on fire right now. We're going to take a look at that. We will definitely take a look at TNON. How you doing, Romeo? Good to see you today. And first and foremost, I just want to look at Bitcoin because it is just a beautiful thing. So watching Bitcoin at 35,600, I predicted that we would see over 30,000. I have all the charts here. I've been doing this for years. And for the last year or so, I've been predicting that Bitcoin was going to go way, way higher. I told you guys I was loading up on Bitcoin and Ethereum last year. It's exactly what I did. I told you they were going to go way higher, and that's exactly what they've done. So I'm really, really happy about it. It's been a really, really good year for everything except for the Magnificent Seven has pretty much struggled. Magnificent Seven have done extremely well. Some of them up around close to 200%, some of them up as much, as 40%. But overall, the Magnificent Seven have done extremely well. And I broke them down to you earlier. And everything else around the Magnificent Seven has kind of struggled this year. Obviously, there's some exceptions, but there is more companies that have struggled this year than done well. Now, one of the sectors that's done really, really poorly is small caps. Small caps have really, really struggled. This is Bitcoin year to date. You can see that it's gone from 16,000 to where we stand today, 35,600. So Bitcoin is well over up 100% this year. Currently, right now, we can say that it is up about 130% for the year. Not bad. 126% for the year. So 126% on Bitcoin this year has been phenomenal. Congratulations to anyone that's taken advantage of that. I hope you're one of those people. And if not, you know what? I honestly believe that it'll continue to go higher. I think it's going to go higher this year. I think there's a very good chance it's going to go higher next year. It's gone higher this year already. So unless there's a collapse, I think we're going to finish the year up. And to be honest with you, I think that next year it's going to go up, and the year after that, and the year after that. So I think it's going to go up next year and then the year after that. So I believe we're going to see it go up this year, which it has. It's going to go up next year, and then it's going to go up the year after that. I've made this prediction, and I sat here and said to you guys that I believe that Bitcoin will go to $100,000 by November of 2025. We're in November of 2023 now. So we're 2 years out from my prediction, and we're currently sitting at 35,000. So do you think I will be right? I think I will, and I'm going to show you why. So its all-time high is 69,000, which I have it marked here, and we're currently sitting at 35. The last time we hit 39,000 was in 2021 when Bitcoin hit its last all-time high. Typically, after Bitcoin hits its all-time highs and after 3 years of going up, it goes down 70%. Last year, Bitcoin went from 69,000 in 2021 to 15,000 in 2022, which is a 70% drop. Exactly as what it's done previously in previous Bitcoin halvings. So before the Bitcoin halving exploded Bitcoin up in 2021, it halved in 2020. Well, the next Bitcoin halving is next March, April of next year, 2024. So it's a 4-year cycle, goes up for 3 years, goes down for 1. So this is the first year of it going up, 2023, similar to the last Bitcoin halving where it started going up in 2019. Then it went up a little bit more in 2020 and a little bit more in 2021, and then dropped in 2022. So similar to that pattern, we're up in 2023. I believe we will be up in 2024, which is similar to 2020. And then we'll see all-time highs in November of 2025, which is similar to 2021. And then after it went up to 69,000, it dropped like a rock and was down to 15,000, 6 to 12 months later. So I believe we're going to see a lot of the same. I think everything in the crypto world is very pattern oriented, and I think we're going to see that same pattern play out here. All right. What is this? I think we'll see that same pattern play out. That remains to be seen. I'm not 100% sure, but that is my prediction. Obviously, I can't see the future, but Bitcoin gives you the best ability to look into the future because of its pattern, because of its trading pattern. It has a distinct trading pattern where it goes up for 3 years, down for 1, up for 3 years, down for 1, up for 3 years, down for 1. We're now in the first year of an up year. Last year was the down year. And then we've got the Bitcoin halving coming next year and 10 Bitcoin spot ETFs looking to get approved by the SEC between now and next year. Those are a lot of catalysts. Those catalysts alone, I believe, take Bitcoin to 100,000 plus. Some believe it'll take Bitcoin to 200,000. Some believe it'll take Bitcoin to 350,000. This is what I've heard from some people who have made predictions. I don't want to title them because I don't know if that's a correct title. So I'm just going to say people who have made predictions have said a lot of these different types of predictions. Okay. Now, we are in a crazy market environment right now where rates are high, inflation's high. We're trying to get the rates down. We're trying to get inflation down, but we're not really able to get inflation down as low as we want. And the rates have been paused, which is good, but they're still high. So people are struggling to pay their credit cards, lines of credit, student loans, mortgages, because when rates go up, which is interest, means that people are paying more now for their debts. And that means it's becoming difficult for people financially. So the people that are struggling right now are the middle income, which are becoming poor, the poor, which are becoming homeless. And then the rich, they're not struggling because they're able to go out and continue to borrow money, even if it is at a higher rate. And they're out there buying everything that everyone else is selling. So this is a great time for the rich. It's always a good time for the rich. And that's why you've heard the saying, the rich get richer. It's true, because when things are down, that's when they can buy. All right. So I'm a big fan of Bitcoin and have been since 2017. And it's been really, really good to me. And in 2017, when I started talking about Bitcoin and investing in Bitcoin live on YouTube, it was at $1,000. Today, Bitcoin is at 35,000. So that's clearly a 34x, a 34 times your money in 7 years. So once again, you can pat your back and congratulations if you've been getting involved in Bitcoin since the start, because if you have, you're up. There's no argument there, right? If you've gotten involved in Bitcoin since 2017, like I have, you're up. It's been a big winner for you. You've done well with it. Now the question becomes, when do you sell? I have a lot of people asking me, Rich, when do I sell? It's a tough question. I'm having the same problem right now. I don't know when to sell. Now, I've told myself I'd like to sell at 100,000. But what if it goes to 200,000? What if it goes to 300,000? If I sell at 100,000, then I'm not going to do as well as I should. So it's very, very difficult. It's hard to predict where it's going to go. But last bull market, it went to 69,000. And previous to that, the high, I don't even remember what the high was before that. I guess we can look at it. What was the previous high? Let's see. The previous high was up here, 31,000. So it went from a high of 31,000 to 69,000 on the last bull market. So based on that jump of more than double, that means that we could potentially see Bitcoin go from 69,000 to maybe 150,000. That would be phenomenal. So I'm definitely going to sell some at 100,000. That's my plan. But I don't know if I want to sell all of it. But I definitely am going to sell some. If it goes to 150, I might sell it all, because that's a great number that seems reasonable on the charts, and it makes sense based on what it's done previously, that it could go as high as 150. But some believe just on hype alone, it could go to 250. Could you imagine if Bitcoin went to 250? That would be insane. Now, there's also a lot of other crazy things going on in the news, and I'm going to talk about some other stocks right now. So PRSO, top mover of the day, up 123%. So you can see here, big move here today for PRSO. Now it is a penny stock, and you can see it's come down from much higher levels in the last year alone, and overall much higher than that. So you could see 127 last year high, and been as low as 11 and currently sitting at 33. So it's doing a dead cat bounce from the bottom. But the problem is once a stock gets under $1, it starts getting controlled and owned by the market makers and short traders. So it's very difficult to determine where it's going to go from here. And stocks have been extremely volatile. And recently, a lot of stocks, not all, but most stocks, after they go up for a day, they typically go back down the next day. Now, there have been a few exceptions that have done well and continue to do well, but they're few and far between. So overall, the market has been extremely volatile. And after a stock or a crypto goes up, a lot of times they're going back down. So you need to be aware of that, and you need to understand the trends. Okay. All right. I also want to talk to you about trends and news cycles. So right now there's a lot of news happening about war. There's war in the Middle East. There's war in the Ukraine. There is trials happening right now. There's a major Donald Trump trial happening for $250 million fraud trial, where the Attorney General of New York is suggesting that Trump inflated his asset value so that he could get loans for investments. Now, he's paid those loans. He's paid the interest on those loans, paid all the debts on those loans. There's no loans outstanding. There's nobody that's been hurt in this, but they're saying that he cooked his books. Now, if he is found guilty, he could pay anywhere from 250 million to 300 million or even more in penalties. So it's a massive witch hunt going after Donald Trump right now, who is calling this election interference because he is running for president next year. I believe it is election interference. I don't understand why this is even happening or why he's even on trial. But they've dragged his son Eric Trump into this. They've dragged Trump Jr., his other son, into this. And today, Ivanka Trump took the stand, his daughter. So very, very crazy times as far as news and news flow, and everything is connected. The news and the markets and crypto, it's all connected. So you have to understand how the news affects assets affect the news, and how everything is all connected. And there's a huge financial game being played every single day. And as an investor, what you're trying to do is you're trying to capitalize on the news flow. You're trying to capitalize on trends. You're trying to capitalize on breaking news, good news, bad news. That's what investing is all about. And there's different types of investing. There's investing where you go in and you day trade and you try to make money on little moves in the market or big moves that happen in short periods of time in the market. And then there's swing trading, where you'll buy something low, sell it high. Or if you're shorting, you're selling it high and then buying it back low for like a swing trade, which could be hours, days, weeks, months, years, depends on how you trade. Swing trade's considered like midterm investing. Day trading and scalping is considered like short-term investing. And then there's long-term investors. I would consider myself a day trader all the way to a long-term investor, but more of a swing trader to a long-term investor, where I look for undervalued, underappreciated, underexposed assets and companies like cryptos and penny stocks in the stock market. And I look for dividend stocks, quality companies, long-term quality investments in companies that are down, that will go up. Last year I did that. I invested in 4 of the Magnificent 7. I invested in Amazon, Google, Apple, and Tesla. I made money on all 4 investments. I bought all 4 last year when they were down, and I sold them this year when they're up. Consequently, they've gone up even higher after I sold them because they continue to do well. So now I'm just going to wait for them to go back down so I can buy them again. Very, very simple. That's my strategy. Now, with in addition to those investments, I made investments in other companies like Shopify, which I sold, Bitcoin ETFs and Bitcoin miners, BTBT, which I sold, investments into Bitcoin and Ethereum and other cryptos, which I have not sold. I still continue to hold my Bitcoin and my Ethereum. I believe that right now is a time where you need to take a little bit more of a safer approach to investing. I think you need to invest in higher quality companies. And I think you need to be very selective if you're going to invest in small caps. Invest in small caps that have good share structures, strong management teams, quality products, good sales, good revenue growth, and good quality debt to equity ratios, hopefully more equity than debt on the balance sheet. I think if you do that, you give yourself a chance to be successful. These companies right here, these ones I'm going to show you, these penny stocks that are doing well today, these could just be one-day moves. When you look at their one-year charts, you can see that they've been higher, most of them, and then they come down and then do these dead cat bounces. That's been the trend all year for these stocks, right? So it's very, very difficult to determine, oh, now's the time to get in. It's difficult because they're doing dead cat bounces off bottoms, and then typically after they go up, they go down the next day. So you need to be really, really careful how you trade these stocks. Okay. I'm just typing away. I got lots of different platforms that we're on right now. We're on multiple platforms. I really appreciate if you guys smash the like button wherever you are. If you have any comments, please comment on the video. If you have any questions, please put your questions in the video as well. So I've been investing for a very long time. I've had some very good success. I've had some failures too. Been a lot of ups and downs along the way. The news moves the market. Yes, Romeo. 100K, I totally agree. So Romeo agrees that Bitcoin will go to 100,000. And I believe it could go even higher than that. But that's just me looking at it logically. And it might not get to 100,000, right? But that would be like my strategy as far as like my exit strategy. When do I want to sell? Where? Based on history, how high has it gone? And when would be my timeline in order to unload that asset? If at all, if I even do want to unload the asset, because I do believe there's a very good chance that Bitcoin could go to $1 million in the next 6 years. I believe that there's a good chance that we could see Bitcoin go to $1 million by 2030. That's my prediction. So 100,000 in 2024, 2025, and then potentially a high of $1 million by 2030. I can't guarantee it. I don't have any inside information. I just believe that that's where it could go based on its trajectory, based on its history, based on its pattern, based on its chart, based on what other experts have predicted, based on more mainstream adoption from the whole world getting involved. So I like these types of stocks too, these penny stocks. They're moving. There's money to be made everywhere, but I still think that Bitcoin may be the greatest single investment of our lifetimes previous to now. And I still think that there's a chance for us to do extremely well on Bitcoin over the next 10 to 20 years. All right, here's THON up 83%. I know that, Romeo, you mentioned THON. They are doing extremely well today. You can see up 83% of the day, and a lot of the same, right? These penny stocks that have come down, got shorted, sold stock to survive, and then are now bouncing off bottoms. So this one went under $1 and now it's back to $4. So had you got in at this one, you could have made hundreds of percent. But the question is now, where do we go from here? These are the difficult questions as investors that we have to ask ourselves and we have to make. We have to make decisions on these tough questions. So here's HSCS. They're up 50% on the day, but another one that looks a lot of the same, right? This come down, really goes down, gets oversold, and then bounces. So do I trust it? Not really. So like I said, I'll put it on my radar, I'll put it on my watch list. But, if it goes immediately down tomorrow, then it's kind of like all bets are off. Here's SNTI, currently at 20% of the day. You can see they've been doing this dead cat bounce, and it's lasted for a few days now. I did talk about them yesterday as well. So you can see they've gone from 30 cents to 60 cents. They've doubled in 2 days. So the question is always, where does it go from here, right? So I mark it up. I can see in the last year, it's been as high as $2, currently at 62 cents. Looks like there's a gap to fill, but it's still controlled by the short traders, the market makers, until it gets to $1, in my opinion. If it does get over $1, we might see it go right to $2, because once something gets under $1, like I said, it's very difficult for it to get back over $1 because there's so many shorters in on it. There's people selling the stock, the company selling the stock. People get frustrated, investors get frustrated, and people start dumping the stock. And that's why it's very difficult for these companies once they get under $1. So very hard to believe it's going to go back up, but it could. And that's why we talk about it here on the Rich TV Live podcast, to put it on your radar, put it on your watch list, and hopefully you can make a good investing decision. Remember, Rich TV Live is strictly for information and education purposes. Please do your own due diligence and do your own research before you invest in anything we talk about or discuss here on the Rich TV Live podcast. Past performance is not always an indication of future results. I don't sit there and hold up the market every day so that you can make money. What I'm doing is I'm going to show you the market every day, so hopefully you can make good investing decisions. You can learn about the markets, and you can understand that the markets are not a get-rich-quick scheme. However, if you learn how to invest wisely, and you learn how to invest properly, and you invest in quality companies, and you invest in companies that are going up at the right time, and you learn how to sell and take profits, and you do that over a period of time, the markets can definitely change your life and make you very financially free. There's been many, many examples of that all over the world for decades. So what we want to do here is we want to show you what's really going on in the market. Here's Roblox, a company I really like. I was even talking to my kids about this because my kids play games on Roblox. And I was asking them, is this a good investment? And they're like, yes, Dad, this is a good investment. This is a company that's going places. So I trust the kids when I'm looking for like trends. And the kids are telling me this is a quality company. So one of the things that I look at here when I'm looking at a stock is this has been as high as $120. And it's been in this range between $25 and like $50 for a couple years now. So kind of like wondering, okay, if it's been in this range now since 2022 and 2023 for almost 2 years, that means that a good buy is $24. It's been there 3 times. So that's really kind of where I want to buy it. So I don't want to buy it now, but the question is, will it go higher? Right? That's the $1 million question. Will it go higher from here? Because as a buyer, I want to buy it here, right? Like I want to buy it every time it goes down here. It's done it 3 times. Will it do it again? It might, but it just had strong earnings. So the question is maybe, when will it do it? If it will do it and when will it do it? So very difficult as a trader to make these decisions. I don't have all the answers, but I really like this stock. And I know the kids do too. And it's been as high as $134. And it's currently at $39. And it's been as low as $24. Even right now, it feels like this is a reasonable place to get in at these levels. But I don't want to overpay for it. So leaving me in a conundrum, but that's kind of where it's at. That's where it's been. And I feel like this is where it's going. I feel like it's going to go back to that $100 range one day. And I don't know when. This is more of like me putting on my long-term investor hat right now, saying, I like this company long-term, and I believe that this company is going to go higher. I just don't know when, but I want to be ready for when it does. And that's me putting my investor hat on. That's me just saying, it's a quality company. I think it's going to grow. I think they're going to make it. The kids are liking it. People are on there making games. company is generating revenue, it's growing, it's going through its ups and downs, but long term, it's going to be a winner. So do I get in now and hold for the long term, which could be 1 or 2 or 5 years? Or do I wait and watch it, see if it goes back down to 24, which it's done 3 times in the last 2 years? And if it does go back to 24, that's where I buy it. Roblox, RBLX. I really like Roblox. I really like this company. And they had a good, strong earnings. So I think they're going in the right direction. But like I said, I would like it more at $24 or $25 than at $39. So this is my dilemma. This is why I haven't bought it yet, but I'm watching it closely and I'm interested in buying it. I'm putting it out there. I'm interested in buying it. And if you're part of my trading community, you can join us at richtv.io, join our community and get access to all my trade ideas absolutely free, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. And if you become a member, you get access to all my trade ideas first, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Love to have you join us at richtv.io, where we can navigate the markets together, conquer market labyrinths, savvy insights, and dynamic chats. You can see we watch all the top assets every single day, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. And you can see all of our featured videos with CEOs and breaking news, trending topics, chart alerts, and engaging shows. You can build personalized watch lists, get expert topics, real-time market alerts, join vibrant group chats, get in-depth technical analysis and interactive live trainings exclusively at Rich TV, and learn about our top 10 soaring stocks and our top 10 crypto movers every single month first. All right, let's get back to the markets here. All right, so TMDX, they've been starting to do one of those dead cat bounces, and you can see that they've been having a monster year here, and they dropped from a higher level, hit a bottom, and now are making a nice move here. So keep your eye on TMDX. NVIDIA, absolutely love NVIDIA, been a major player this year, one of the top magnificent 7 stocks of the year. They're the top chip maker in the world. They're also the top AI stock in the world. So I think NVIDIA is one that everyone should try to have in their portfolio and just try to buy it on dips. Shopify, another quality company that I sold this year, took profits. I really like Shopify. I think the upside is tremendous for Shopify, and I think that they have a quality future, and they're a great company, one of the top companies in Canada. Ethereum now trading over 1,900. Full disclosure, I do own Ethereum. They're my second largest crypto holding, and I believe everyone should try to gain exposure to crypto through Bitcoin and Ethereum. Will Coinbase go over 300? I think one day they will. I think if Bitcoin goes to 100,000, you'll see Coinbase make a huge run. Will it get back to 300? I don't know. When will it get back to 300? I don't know. But if Bitcoin goes to 100, then I think that that's going to be a good run for coin. If Bitcoin eventually goes to 1 million by 2030, I think there's a chance that we could see Coinbase back to 300 plus. I think there's definitely a chance. But that's going to depend on Coinbase and how effective they are at growing their business, managing their money, and growing their profits. That's what it comes down to for public companies. Revenue growth, sustainability, revenue growth, building your assets, and reducing your liabilities. And right now, in a high interest environment, it's difficult because people are losing a lot of money because they're paying a lot of interest on loans. So Microsoft, one of the Magnificent Seven, has had a phenomenal year, is now trading at an all-time high. Look at Microsoft. So Microsoft has had a phenomenal year, one of the Magnificent Seven, and they are trading at an all-time high. So keep your eye on Microsoft. Bitcoin, obviously I love Bitcoin. I've been marking this up, talking to you guys about them every single day. Probably one of the biggest advocates of Bitcoin, and I'm going to continue to be. I'm also a holder of Bitcoin. And I think everyone should try to get some exposure to Bitcoin. And that's why I believe the Bitcoin ETFs are going to be very big, because if you don't want to buy cryptos, have them on an exchange, or buy a ledger and have to worry about passwords and getting hacked and all that stuff, you can just buy a Bitcoin spot ETF. And then when the price of Bitcoin goes up, your Bitcoin spot ETF goes up. If Bitcoin goes down, your Bitcoin spot ETF goes down. I think that's going to bring billions and potentially trillions of dollars into the Bitcoin market as people are looking for exposure into Bitcoin that don't understand it, that don't like the risks of getting hacked, don't like the risks of getting their money disappearing on an exchange, which are valid concerns. I think the Bitcoin spot ETFs are going to be phenomenal for investors to invest into Bitcoin without having to deal with any of those concerns of hacking, having your crypto exchange get hacked or go bankrupt, fraud, scandal, losing your passwords. A lot of those are valid concerns and reasons why you don't want to be on a decentralized exchange and you would rather just put your money into a Bitcoin spot ETF with, let's say, BlackRock. I think a lot of people are going to invest that way. And I believe I will too. I'll have some Bitcoin spot ETFs in my portfolio. And that way I'll be able to maneuver and buy and sell Bitcoin without having to worry about moving my money off of a ledger. So I think there's going to be huge advantages to the Bitcoin spot ETFs. And I think that they're going to be a huge catalyst for the price of Bitcoin. And I believe that's one of the reasons why we see the price of Bitcoin right now trading up. And it has been up, like I said, about 130% for the last year. From 15,000 to now 35,600, it has been one of the greatest assets of the year. So when everyone talks about the Magnificent Seven, I think they should talk about the Magnificent Eight and they should add Bitcoin to it. So instead of being the Magnificent Seven, I'm going to call it the Magnificent Eight and I'm going to add Bitcoin to it. And I have the Magnificent Seven right in my list here. So another one of the Magnificent Seven is Google. Google's another one that I bought last year. I told you guys it was too good to be true. I bought it under 100 and now it's at $133. I sold it, made my profits. It's gone up even higher after I sold it. So now I'm waiting for Google to drop so I can buy it again. I'd like to buy all of the Magnificent Seven again when they drop, but they're all high. So I'm not buying them right now. I'm waiting for a drop and I might have to wait for a couple of years or I might get a chance to get in next year. We'll see. Here's MicroStrategies. I've been talking about MicroStrategies. Michael Saylor is one of the largest holders through MicroStrategies of Bitcoin in the world. All he does with MicroStrategies is buy Bitcoin. That's all he does is he buys Bitcoin, and they're a public company trading at $476. That's been as high as 1,000. And I believe if Bitcoin goes back to its all-time highs, which it clearly could, as you can see, it's been as high as 1,000, currently at 476. If Bitcoin goes back to all-time highs next year or the year after, I believe we're going to see MicroStrategies over 1,000. That's another great investment opportunity for an investor who wants to potentially double their money. Can I guarantee it? Of course not. I'm not sitting there holding MicroStrategies up and pushing it up to 1,000, but I'm trying to give you my mentality as an investor, what I'm looking at in this marketplace, because I think there's opportunities, but it's not a type of market where you can just throw your money at anything, throw your stuff, throw your money into something, throw it against the wall and see what sticks. Like we've seen in previous years, like in 2021, that didn't end well. This is the type of year, like last year, where you need to be extremely strategic. And if you're strategic, you'll win and you'll find winners and you'll see returns on your investments. If you're not, you're going to lose. You're going to take losses and you're going to have terrible, terrible results. But if you're strategic and you invest in growing companies, quality companies, assets that are too big to fail, like the Magnificent Seven, and now Bitcoin, which I call now the Magnificent Eight, the Magnificent Seven plus Bitcoin, you're going to have success. So I think I'm going to make a video about the Magnificent Eight. And I'm going to call it the Magnificent Eight before anybody else does. Here's Apple, part of the Magnificent Eight. I mean, it's been a phenomenal ride for Apple. Another one that I bought last year on the dip, sold it, and now it's gone higher. And Bitcoin's gone higher, Apple's going higher. I consider Apple the Bitcoin of the stock market, and I consider Bitcoin the Apple of the crypto market. Apple is the largest market cap stock in the world. Bitcoin is the largest market cap crypto in the world. I believe they're very, very similar. Bitcoin acts as a barometer for the whole crypto universe, as Apple works and acts as a barometer for the whole stock market. So I think if you want to own a quality company, you want to own Apple. They are part of the Magnificent Seven. And in my opinion, they're the leader of the Magnificent Seven, similar to how Bitcoin is the leader of the crypto industry. And put it together and we make the Magnificent Eight, which is the Magnificent Seven plus Bitcoin. The Rich TV Live podcast, Magnificent Eight. Here's XRP, one of my top 10 crypto holdings, one of my top 10 crypto favorites, and one of the top cryptos that I think everyone should be aware of because it is the crypto that is being used in many countries, being used by many banks. Over 200 institutions worldwide are using Ripple already because of its speed and the ability to move money for very, very little fees. So it is one of the greatest cryptocurrencies in the world because of how you can use it. And governments, banks, institutions, and high net worth investors, cryptocurrency exchanges all over the world are going to be using Ripple more and more as they understand the technology of XRP and Ripple. So, hey, thank you, Romeo. I appreciate you. I think everyone should definitely keep their eyes on Ripple. And it's cheap. It's not expensive like Bitcoin at 35,000 US. You can get into Ripple for 69 cents. So it's one of the cheap ones right now. Here's SPLY. I've been talking about them, interviewing them. Stay tuned to my next interview with the VP of Corporate Development and the President, Seti Coscarella and Ronan Levy. And you can see they went up, they've come down, and now they're starting to go back up again, back to 14 cents. So keep your eye on SPLY, Safe Supply, Streaming Corp, a company that I think everyone needs to be aware of. And they're only public in Canada. Once they get released in the United States, I'll let you know first. And once they become available in Frankfurt, Germany, I'll let you know as well. Here's Uber. Uber has been one of the companies I've been talking about over the last couple of years. They've had a huge year. They've been going up, doing extremely well over the year. So definitely keep your eye on Uber, one of the top plays of the year, and been a trade that I've traded multiple times and won every single trade. And they've done extremely well. I love Uber for their driving and for their cars. I've taken many Ubers, and I also like them for their Uber Eats service. So I like the fact that they have two businesses that they're growing in, and I think that they're going to continue to. Netflix, big fan of Netflix. I use them almost every day. I watch Netflix all the time. I love their shows. I've been watching the Sylvester Stallone movie this week. I also I just been finishing off the Arnold Schwarzenegger series. So very, very amazing. Netflix is amazing. I love the product. And I think it's important to invest in companies that you use or companies you believe in. And I believe in Netflix. And you can see they're trading and approaching an all-time high as well. So definitely a quality company that is approaching all-time highs. Not yet. I mean, they're still going to have to go a little bit higher, but I think that we could see them go to those levels in the next year or two, back to that $600 range as they just continue to grow and they continue to find ways to get more audience, more viewership, and more eyeballs on their product, which is what it's all about at the end of the day when you're in business. Amazon, quality company. I think under 100 is an amazing buy. I bought and sold Amazon multiple times over the last year. I think it's a quality company that everyone should try to own in their portfolio. Part of the Magnificent Seven. They've done extremely well this year. I did sell them and take profits, and now they've gone even higher. So I'm waiting for them to do a pullback. If they can pull back under 100, I'll be buying again, and I'll be letting you all know. Tesla, part of the Magnificent Seven, one that I sold this year, one of the Fab Four that I sold this year, that I bought last year and sold this year and made profits with. Love Tesla, big fan of Elon Musk. I think if you can get them under 200, that's a reasonable buy. If it goes back to 150 or 100, where I bought it last time, I'll definitely be a buyer again. But I love this company. I think there's tons of potential here. And I do also believe that it kind of goes up and down with Bitcoin. So if Bitcoin goes up, I think you have to keep your eye on Tesla because it'll probably go up with it. Here's BITO. This is a Bitcoin ETF that exists, currently just under $18. You can see it's been climbing up with the price of Bitcoin also going up this year. So definitely keep them on your radar and keep them on your watch list. Planet Fitness. I think people are going back out there, exercising again, kind of moving on from COVID and getting back out there. So I think Planet Fitness is starting to turn it around. You can see that in the chart. I think we could see them go back to $80. I think at $80, they'll probably get resistance. But from 60 to 80, I think there's a chance there for the stock to go higher. So definitely keep them on your radar and keep them on your watch list. Gold seems to be struggling every time it gets to that 2,000 mark. It's having a pullback right now. All right. RML. This is a company I really like. It's starting to sell off a little bit. You can see it's been a 10x this year. So put them on your radar, put them on your watch list. COMT, top dividend payer, pays around 30% a year. A quality dividend ETF that tracks oil and gas, gold, and precious metals. TripAdvisor has been going down. I think that there's a chance here on TripAdvisor to go higher. So definitely keep them on your radar and keep them on your watch list. It's travel season. A lot of people are starting to travel right now. So I think definitely everyone needs to keep their eye on TripAdvisor. Here's Datadog. Datadog is down 1%, but they did do well yesterday on earnings. I think you need to keep them on your radar and keep them on your watch list. Oil. So oil has had a crazy year where it went down to $60, went back up to 95, let's say 64, went to 95, and now it's back down to 75 again. So up and down, very volatile, been going up and down with the fact that we're also in the middle of multiple wars right now, a war in the Ukraine, war in the Middle East, in Gaza. So, and in the Middle East, there's a lot of tension rising. So I think we're going to see a lot of volatility for oil and gas over the next couple of years with these wars. I think there's going to be volatility on the upward side, and there's going to be volatility on the downward side. So definitely opportunities in oil and gas as an investor, and I'll be tracking all of that as well. Here's RRI, Riverside Resources, quality company with a strong management team. I think it's a penny stock that you can definitely keep on your radar and keep on your watch list. All right. Now let's just track gold here, currently at 35,650. And PRSO, the top penny stock mover of the day, currently up 108% on the day. All right. Hope you're all having a great day. I'm your host of the most, your boy Rich from Rich TV Live and the Rich TV Live podcast. If you're not winning, you're probably not watching. We bring the winners, CEO interviews, breaking news, trending topics, and we bring it to you first. Hope you enjoy our show. If you do, please smash the like button, comment down below, share the video everywhere, and subscribe if you're live. I'm your boy Rich from Rich TV. Have a great day. I'm out. Peace.